Hey everybody, my name is Evan and I like to draw, and we are back after a very long hiatus. But you know what, whatever, I got a new microphone, hopefully you can tell, because don't I just sound so amazing? Anyway, today we are going to draw Godzilla and Bowser, because, I don't really have a reason, I just wanted to draw them, and I think Fury Bowser is kinda like Godzilla, because he's big. And, I mean, he's spiky, so that's two things in common. That's pretty good. And, honestly, it'd be kind of sick to see this guy look like the other guy, the big blue one, except he's red. So, you know, yeah, enough rambling. We'll get right into it right now. And one thing I also want to add to this drawing is going to be all of the weird minions, the Bowser Fury enemies. So here's a whole list of them. I only use about, like, less than half, but, you know, we'll get to that later. Just wanted to point this out. Anyway, like every single drawing in existence, all we gotta do is whip up a sketch, slap it in the middle, and then admire its beauty. Wowza. It looks amazing, because it's the poster, but it's Mario themed, because there's Bowser in the middle, and then there's all his little minions and stuff around the sides. Yup. We'll let the royalty music take over from now, and we can just enjoy this lovely masterpiece. However though, the OG Godzilla poster has a bunch of like Navy ships and whatnot everywhere, but I put the Giga Bell and I put Mario and Plessy on there, cause I'm cool like that. Yeah! Anywho, moving on to the actual drawing process, the first thing we need to do is lower the outline's opacity to 28, and then take a vector brush at a pretty low size, and then just trace over everything in crisper lines. And actually this time, I have a tool called smoothing applied. That means basically when I draw, it's like takes a longer time, but it makes all the lines a lot more smooth, hence the name, instead of like jiggly. Yeah, you can't really tell because it's so tiny, but you know, it's there, and there's his nose, his nostril, and there's his mouthpiece without the other parts, and it looks kind of awkward. So, yeah, we'll just continue adding the things until all his mouth is done. And then after connecting both pieces of his bottom jaw, I can then go back in and erase the part of the top jaw. That way it all looks like one piece. Except then I also had a little line, so it looks kind of like two. And then once that's done, it's time to add his eyeballs, which we just do two right beside each other in the circle. No, I'm kidding. All we gotta do now is actually fill in the rest of the teeth, and then we can move on to the actual part of his face, and since he's standing profile, you can only see one eye, but you know, you would have figured that out eventually. And that aforementioned eye gets drawn in right now, in a cool little glare segment. A cool little glare stare. Ooh, he's so angry and scary looking. Rawr. Yup, and then after that we can put in his big bushy eyebrow and then the rest of his majestic flowing hair. Ooh la la, so fancy. And then his horns as well, which are just pretty much half croissant spiky things on the side of his head with circles on the bottom. And then after that's done, we'll just whip through the rest of the drawing by doing a bunch of segments and different variations so it gives the illusion that I drew everything even though I didn't record it all. Yay for montage! Anyway, once that's done, we can color in his shell using some magic. Wowza, that looks fantastic. But no Bowser's complete without the other side of him, so there's his big chunky tummy. And now that he's got that appropriate football shape, we're all good to go on the upper half of Bowser, and then move on to his legs. Which I forgot to record, so, magic, woo! There you go. That's all of Bowser. He's standing there with his big arms and legs and tail. And I didn't draw his feet because he's standing in water and you can't see it. So, honestly, that's kind of all the outline we're going to do, because everything else I'm going to try and do it a bit differently with no outlines. So, I guess we can just move straight on to the background, which is going to be dark blue, because that's the color of the sky. And I'm using this texture brush that I forget the name of at the current moment. I believe it's, Scratchy Bristles, that's it, it's called Scratchy Bristles. Anyway, we're going to do that, and then we're going to also use the same one for the water, except we're going to do a gradient effect in the next clip, because this one is just one color. There we go. See, look, it's ever so slightly darker. And I'll just keep doing that and, like, lowering the thing and smudging it all down until it looks like water. And it takes a couple tries, but I get it eventually. Woohoo. And once I get it eventually and smudge it all down, we can then add the rest of the water bits, which are kind of just blue little seafoam wavy bits on an overlaid layer with the overlay layer thing called overlay. Jesus. Basically there's a cool effect that makes it shiny on different parts, and that's what's going on right here. Anyway, after I draw on the big wave crests or whatever they're called, I can then do the little wave crests and give some detail and texture to the water. Woohoo! Look at it. It looks so swimmable, you could say. Yeah, I don't got much else to say. I guess we can talk about what I'm doing now, which is putting darker parts beneath the water, because I believe that's how waves work. Like, it gets white and foamy at the top, and then it's darker at the bottom. But I don't go swimming much because it's winter right now when it's really cold outside. So, yeah, there you go. There's some water bits. But guess what, guys? We're gonna put those white parts at the top right now. Whoa, look at that. See, that's all the seafoam I was talking about earlier, and that's when the wave go up and there's like air or whatever, and it's like split splash. Yup. Yeah. Oh, actually, this is something to talk about. Look, I'm adding, oh goodness, splash effects, because Bowser's bursting out of the water like Godzilla does, because it's the same as the poster, except I'll make them bigger in a couple clips later, but this is just like the first layer. Woohoo. That was a lot of rambling. I'm just gonna move on to the next part. And see, look, I do know what I'm talking about. Here's that water splash bit I was talking about earlier. And this one's on a brush that, like, kind of stacks against itself, and then it looks brighter the more you put on it, which is pretty cool. So I'll do that all around, just like it does in the regular poster, and then I'll just go in and smudge it down, crop it a bit, erase away some of the parts, add some more, then fix it, because I also made it, like, too lopsided, so I just gotta, like, pick up the entire thing and move it over a bit. But only after I use an eraser brush that, like, mushes it all down and makes it look more watery. There you go. Oh, and now I'm adding some fire glow effect at the bottom. Although, if you saw the thumbnail, everything is orange, and right now we're drawing everything in blue, but don't worry, we'll get to that later. This is my realization that I was like, wait a minute, orange looks better. So, yeah, we'll get to that eventually. Only after we finish this water, though, which is right about now. When I realize it's lopsided, I finally do something about it, and I move it like 2 inches, and I say, wow, that looks amazing. Woohoo, on to the next. And the next thing to do is the sky, which again is not orange, but it's blue right now, but we'll figure it out later. Anyway, I do another gradient similar to the water, using the exact same brush actually, only just different colors, and it gets darker towards the top, because I thought that's what I wanted to do, but then I change it completely later, but nonetheless, here's the sky getting smudged down. Whoa, look at that. It kind of looks like the poster, maybe a bit too much, but now we gotta add in some clouds on the top, because, I don't know, I'm mimicking the poster and there's clouds there. So after using a snap to circle type thing with a cloud brush, I can then color in all the clouds. And that's kind of it. Cloud brushes make my life incredibly easy, I'm not gonna lie. They're amazing. I love you, cloud brushes. Shout out. Anyhoodles, there's gonna be a giant red, orange, fire laser beam shooting through the clouds. So all we gotta do is add some red, fire, orange laser beam lighting to the clouds, which kind of looks really not good against the blue, and I attempt to smudge it down to make it look better, but it honestly just doesn't work out that well. But don't worry, trust the process, guys. I figure stuff out eventually, after I try my best to find a good overlay layer. Except I just go back to normal because it wasn't working. And then, well, then I try and give Bowser a little highlight, because Godzilla in his poster's glowing, so I thought Bowser would glow orange. And there you go, see, he's glowing orange, and it actually looks pretty darn good. And this is when I started to realize I have poo-poo brain, and I need to make everything orange, because Godzilla in his poster is making everything blue because he's blue. So Bowser in his poster should make everything orange because he's orange. So after finding a good overlay layer for once, I can make everything that was blue before orange, and now it looks all fiery, and ba-bam! Look at that. It's so cool and red, and it's got nice effects everywhere. And now, we can actually finally sketch in Bowser, not using the outline I used before, because I changed my mind halfway through and wasted a bunch of time. But whatever, we have this cool brush called Cezanne something or other, and then it makes everything look all scratchy, because Bowser's like made out of paint in this game, or something, so it kind of looks like that. Close enough, you know? But then, I actually had the grand idea to use the outline I had before, but as an outline. Wow. I mean, like, I put it semi over the other layer as an outline, because it adds like cool glowing effects like you see right here. After I give Bowser his entire texture all around him. There you go. See, I only highlighted certain parts of the outline, so it makes everything look like it's glowing. But after that's all done, we can do his giant fire laser breath thing, which is basically just a stick of yellow. It kind of looks like butter, not really, but, you know, close enough. We can just pretend it is. And then we add in a couple other layers that I drew off camera, and then some red effects and some more glowing into the clouds, which now look better because everything's red. So I fixed that. And then once I'm happy the way Bowser looks, I can then start working on the background, which is a lot of the spikes of paint, I guess, you see throughout the game that kind of just pop up all over Lake Lapcat, and a bunch of other stuff throughout there, but there's really only like a row of a couple of them and a little mushroom island on the back layer, and that's what's going on right now. Then we can move right back up to the exact opposite side of the drawing and fix the laser beam because I realized it was going behind the clouds instead of right through them. So I can add more cloud layers, and then I can add a little white shine right where the laser hits direct impact. So it's like, clouds, and like, ooh, it's hitting right there. Yeah, I mean, the idea is there, the execution is okay. But then after that, we can add in the military-grade vehicles, except in this one it's just Plessy and Mario, in a black outline, because I'm trying something new, believe it or not. And then the same can be said for the Gigabell? Yeah, the same can be said for the Gigabell, which is also just a black outline, kind of just randomly thrown together. But it looks like a giant floating cat bell, so close enough, you know? And then once the two ground forces are done, we can go with the Air Force, which is a bunch of random Mario Bowser's Fury enemies, all colored in black, because, well, I'm gonna make them glow red and look all 3D, kind of, without giving them a ton of detail. But right here, there's a Bullet Bill, there's a Para-Cat Troopa, I believe that's what they're called, I'm not sure. Go back to the beginning of the video and read the little list I had put out. But after that, we kind of just color all of them in. I hope the silhouettes look good enough, but they're tiny anyway, so you barely see them. So, you know, it is good enough. Then it's time for that aforementioned red 3D glow effect, where I put red, and then orange, and then I smudge them together on one side, so it goes back towards the back, I guess. That will always be black, and then everything looks like it's getting red light shown in front of them, so then they look 3D-ish. And then I don't have to draw a ton of details, because they're tiny anyway, so you wouldn't see them. Like that airship right there, boom, now it looks 3D, because there's red all over it. Isn't that amazing? And that Boo right there, oh, never mind, not the Boo, he's not important. The Bullet Bill and this Cat Paratroopa, they all look 3D, don't they? Heck yeah. Amazing. Now what we gotta do is the exact same thing on the other side, where we color in poor Bowser Jr. right here, and then all of his little buddies, and then they also get redified as well, and they look amazing. And amazing they look indeed. Wowza. Look at that. Everything looks so cool and awesome. Now, the only thing left to do is add some rain, which I will use a ruler and then just a few little flecks, and I will duplicate them over and over and over and over and over until I have an entire wall of rain, and then I will choose another blend mode, but this time I get it correctly, and it actually looks like rain, and that goes over the entire thing, and it gives it more subtle details. I forget which one I choose, but we'll figure it together right now. I use, not difference, not hard light. Ooh, what's it gonna be? Hard mix? Maybe, no. How about luminosity? No. I go straight back up to color dodge, and I lower the opacity, and look at that. It looks like rain. Now the last thing to do is add the words, because this is a parody movie poster after all. So instead of Godzilla, King of the Monsters, it's going to be Bowser King. But I gotta type in the rest of it, so I'll skip ahead right now. But ooh, I wonder what I could be saying. What could be the funny pun? Ooh, okay, here we go. Bowser, King of the King. That doesn't sound right at all. Kind of poo-poo brain for even thinking. Oh, never mind, we're changing. Bowser King. Oh, I get it. Bowser, King of the Koopas, because Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Har hardy har, so very funny. Whoop-de-doo. Wow, that's fantastic. What do you know? Just amazing. Now all we gotta do is actually mix the words together, and there you go. Now it looks like how it does in the Godzilla poster. Wow, that's just cool. And then it actually doesn't, because now it looks better as yellow. And then, at the very top, we can add some of the main stars to the show, like Mario. Yep, there we go, like Mario. And Charge and Chuck as well. But actually, guys, once all those names are added in, that's us finished here, and on to the gallery. Alrighty, well, we're done. Another one, after a very long time of not making videos, but whatever, I'm back anyway. Full force and better than ever. Heck yeah. Anywho, this was fun. I liked it a lot. I didn't do anything in my traditional style, which, I don't know, I'm expanding my artistic forte, oh ho ho ho. But not really, I just want to draw Mario. And I'll probably make another parody poster, but of Kong, because, you know, Kong, Skull Island, and Donkey Kong, so expect that to be soon-ish, hopefully. But anyway, thanks for sticking out to the end, guys, and I'll see you later.